Recording now. So again, welcome everybody. My name is Jeff O'Brien, Maintenance Assistant CMMS, and I am one of the product specialists here. Today's class is entitled Setting Up and Managing Your Work Orders. It's really the basics of work order management in the CMMS. Some of the topics we're going to look at today is we're going to start with a simple guest work request. We're going to follow that right through from the request right through completion. We're going to look at some of the views, how to search work orders, how to customize your view, your look on your screen. We're going to look at some of those work order settings, and then some of the items that I have been using during the class, such as tasks lists and multi-asset work orders. We're going to take a look at those towards the end of the session. So hopefully then we'll have enough time to answer any Q&A that you might have, any questions. The class usually takes about 30 to 40 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave everybody on mute, and then at the end I'm going to open it up and you can use the chat window to ask any questions you have. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get going. So let's take a look at the CMMS. If I flick over here to my CMMS, this is it here. This is my work order section of the CMMS. Schedule maintenance is considered work that's due at some point in time in the future. It's a recurring schedule, and whenever it is due, it's going to create a work order. You can also have work orders that are created on the fly, something that needs to be fixed. Somebody's going to create a work order, and it's going to sit here in the queue for the maintenance manager and his team to attend to. As soon as the work is done, it's going to move from active from an active status into one of those closed statuses. So there you go. You see here, there's a load of closed work orders. And over time, this is the kind of the value of the CMMS. Those work orders are going to remain in the system, and you can check back over the years and see, what are the issues we've had on these systems before, what do we do to fix them, or we can also check, what did we do last time on a similar system. And also, if you have new staff coming in, or if you have a high turnover, it's great for the staff to be able to, check in the system and see what was done in systems before. So they don't need to have that, 20 years experience, and they can get the information from the CMMS. So let's start out with a guest work request. So a guest work request is accessed through the main login screen. There's no need for an account for a guest work request. A guest user is considered somebody who doesn't need access to the CMMS. They could be, teachers in a school, nurses in a hospital, doctors in a hospital, security at a facility, etc. They don't need access to the system to process work orders. They just want to log a request. So let's take a look at the work request portal here. So if I go click submit work request, I'm going to check. I'm going to select my location, and this is because I've got multi-site turned on. This is not for everybody's, but it's for this account. And here is the guest work request screen. So I'm going to put in my name here. So imagine like I'm a driver of one of the vehicles for this company, and I am going to log an issue I have when I was driving on site. Oh my gosh, very long email address. So when I was driving the vehicle, the company vehicle, it's our Ram truck. So if I look down here, I'll see our Dodge Ram. I just click it from the list, and the issue I'm reporting is an oil leak from the engine, oil causing, smell in the cabin as well. That's the issue I'm going to report to the maintenance team. I can just go click OK, and the request can go in straight away. If I want to give more information, and the priority, I could say if it's something like there's a tear in the carpet, it might be low priority. However, if the oil is leaking out of the engine, this is pretty high priority. So let's put it at the highest. We don't want the engine to seize. The maintenance type, these are customizable views that you can set up for your CMMS. Let's just say this is it's a damage maintenance type, and we just click OK. So that now has been submitted from the user. They can go back about their job. They can do whatever they like. And the work request has been submitted. When they do, they will get a notification from the system to let them know that that work request has been received to the system by the maintenance manager. So I log in as the maintenance manager. And here I see in my dashboard, I've got the work request button here, and I see down through the list of work requests. I see here top of the list is oil leak from engine causing a smell. So I'm going to open it up, and by default, this asset, this particular asset category automatically, when a work order is created, it's automatically going to install some tasks into the work order or schedule maintenance. And we'll see that when we go to the maintenance task section towards the end of this class. So I'll see here right away that these tasks have actually been set up straight away. We see here that the work request has come in from me, Jeffrey O'Brien. There's the number. There's some details there about the work request. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the top. I'm going to leave it right now as requested. I'm just going to put in, I want to get this done pretty quickly. So let's say I want it done by Friday the 4th. And I want to add some more tasks into the tasks area here. So investigate leak. And I'm going to assign that to my technicians or my managers group. This means that anybody who's in that group can pick this work order up. So let's go anybody in the managers group. I estimate that this inspection is going to take about an hour to do. Now they might not do the job in one go, but at least they can take it, look at the issue and see if they can find a solution for it. If I knew the parts right now, I could add it to the system and say, for example, if this was a service on the car or something, I know exactly what parts are going to be used. I can add them. I can also add other people to the work order. Now, right now, the managers have been added because I add them to the task, but also Tommy Smith has been added because he is a registered user on this asset. If I go into the asset, the Dodge Ram truck, if I go into it, let's see here, it's not letting me do it there, but if I go into the truck and I can see that Tommy Smith is a registered user in the personnel tab of that asset. So that's why he's been included here. I can also upload files if needed, etc. The final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the work order status from requested to open. Okay. Now the work order status is the position in the work order flow. And I've done a quick slide here so you can see how that works. So it's completely customizable. It's up to your company or your organization how you want that to work. And I've just done some samples here. So requested work order is going to be open. It's going to be open for the technicians to kind of jump at. And one of them can pick it. When they pick it or when they pick it from the list, it's assigned to them. When they're working on the job, it's work in progress. They could be waiting for a part. Maybe the part's not on site. They need to order it. And when the job is done, close complete. The bottom one here, again, I can actually set the CMMS to automatically set a work request directly to open, and it goes through the various stages. And it might not end up completed; it might get closed incomplete. Maybe the job has not been done for whatever reason. Maybe we find it's not worth our while to do the particular job. So the work order status is the work order's position in the work order flow. If I go back here, what I've done is open. Now open is it's open for selection. Anybody can take it, and it's assigned here to the managers group. So this work order is going to sit in the maintenance section in the there it is there, oil leak from the engine oil, and it's in the open status. So let's just log off here, and I'm going to log in as one of my technicians, Tommy the technician, and he logs into his CMMS and he goes into his my assigned work orders. And he sees here that there is some different work orders here. There's a work order in his name. It's assigned to him. There's also the oil leak from the engine. Now, if you have a formal process where the supervisor will assign those work orders to the individual technicians, then this will go straight to Tommy. But in this case, the manager has sent it to open, which means anybody can pick it from the queue. So Tommy says he's going to pick this from the queue. I'm going to take this. I'm going to change this from assigned, or from open, sorry, to assigned. It's going to be me. So then he starts his investigation into the oil leak, and he can type his completion notes here. Inspected XYZ, did this, did that, etc. Whatever that may be, not spelled correctly, but he did this and that. He logged all his notes for all the tasks he did in the system. He signed off those various different things. Again, this is automatically populated by the tasks in the list. You can also pull tasks directly in individually, or you can pull a group in. So if there's a list of tasks that you have in the system, here's one here, power conditioner quarterly maintenance check. It's eight tasks in that. There could be one there, back to production checklist or something like that. Maybe the back to production checklist is a visual inspection of the area, make sure all your tools are accounted for, make sure it's wiped down, make sure there's no leaks, make sure all the alarms are cleared, etc. That could be added to the system. So as Tommy completes his tasks, he signs them off. He actually is taking a photo of the repair. If I go to my desktop here, this one here, we'll see here on my desktop that there is a picture of the damaged gasket. He has taken a photo of this. It's just a broken part here in the center of the gasket. So in the file section, what he can do is he can actually drag this gasket directly into the file section, and that image is going to be there for anybody in the future that need to check and see, what was the cause. They can look back and see the repair. Some people like to, if there's anything moving mechanical systems, you could take a video and you could upload the video there, and then you can review it in the future and say, oh, last time we had that issue, how did it act or perform? You can then check it from the system. So he's found a damaged gasket. So in the completion notes, you might say replace the gasket, etc. He goes to the parts section. He's going to get that part from stores, and he's going to log it against this particular asset. Here's the Caterpillar gasket. We'll use that. He used one of those. That now has been depleted in stores by 1, and it's now charged to this particular asset. When everything is done and signed off, he has put in his completion notes. Root cause of the issue is, say it's just a wear and tear. Solution was to replace the gasket. Again, this is your problem cause solution. In the future, if the technicians ever need to check back and see what was done, they can go there and do that. I didn't set it to work in progress. I probably should have. He would go to work in progress. He would log any hours against it, how much. So he's got hours. He spent 2 hours doing it. He's used one part, and when the job is done, it then goes to close complete. And all those people that have been involved in this work order on the notification section, so everybody in the managers group, Tommy Smith, and also the guest requester, are going to get that notification when that work order close complete is done. So I just log off and go back in as the manager. The manager now sees he has his 4 work requests in the queue. His active work orders has depleted by 1 because this work order has been closed. And he can go here to the search and he can say, let's have a look for those issues that were leaking. So it looks like it has a lot of leaks on this system. And we see here, there's the work order in the close section. It has been done, oil leak from the engine. And he can click in and see all those tasks or all those items or all the steps that Tommy took to complete the work order. At the end of the week, he can run those reports. He can do his close work orders for the week and just get a final summary of what was done by his team during the week, how many hours were spent, where they were spent, etc. Just while I'm on the screen here, you can see this is the work order. This is in the closed area. It is possible to resize your columns. You can also change your view here by clicking visible columns in the corner. So if I want to see who was actually assigned the work, who closed it, I'm not too concerned about who the requester was or what the status is right now, because I know it's going to be all close complete. I'm in the close complete section. And there I've just added those extra columns here, who is assigned the work and who actually completed the work. It looks like Sam, the supervisor, has done a lot of those orders. So that's pretty much the work order flow from start to finish. If I just go back to my presentation here, back up one slide. So we had a look at the work request right through to a completed work order, and we just had a quick look at customize the work order views. Now I'm going to take a look at the quick work order settings. So let's have a look at all the settings involved with this this area of the CMMS. So the settings, there's a few customizable settings for the CMMS. The first one is your maintenance type. The next one is your maintenance statuses, and they are accessed through the settings section, the CMMS settings, and then we go to lookup tables. And you can see here the various different maintenance types are here. These are kind of off the shelf, come standard with the CMMS. It is possible to change them if you want. You can also add new ones as needed. So I might say, well, we're getting a lot of oil leaks. I want to monitor these even more. I want to make sure that all oil leaks are logged as oil leaks. So we can see how many hours we're fixing these oil leaks. I can pick a color from the color list here and click OK. And now that is one of my new work order maintenance types here that is available. It's also available for scheduled maintenance as well. So I can now log issues as the type oil leak. You don't want to go too crazy on this. There's probably is an unlimited amount of possibilities there, but the more you add, the more confused the technicians will get, and they will generally just pick the same types each time, something very generic. Our work order statuses is directly below. Here we go, work order status. Let's create a new one. Let's just say this is going to be rejected by plant manager. This is in the closed section. So what's happening here? I'm creating a status that if a work order goes to it comes in, somebody wants to get a job done, the plant manager might decide, you know what, that's more of a nice to have rather than a necessity. So I'm going to reject that. We don't need to do that right now. We're too busy. So this is a status. The work orders will sit in the closed status, but I'll be able to then filter by rejected by plant manager. The other couple of settings that we have for work orders in the maintenance and work order section here, these are our default statuses for work orders. So whenever I create a work order, I want it to default to that open status, which means the way I work is I don't assign the people directly to the task. I let them self-select from the list themselves, and they can decide, based on their workload, who takes the work. So I can set the work order to open, and my group of technicians, whoever is available, can take a look at the list and they can pull one of the work orders into their queue. If I decide I actually want to, I don't that step I don't want to do. I want to when I create a work order, I want it to go to assigned, and I want to assign it as a supervisor. I want to know who's doing exactly what, and I'm going to assign that directly to the guy. I just change that to assigned. So whenever I create a work order, the default setting is assigned. The default request status, that's when the work request comes in from either inside the system, the dashboard here, you'll see submit a work request. So the technician can actually submit a work request. Oops, that's the wrong one. It's submit work request. So he can submit a work request, and he doesn't have the name and email here because he is a registered user on the system. But it's also for the guest work requester as well. They see that screen. So what we want to do we want the work order to go to the request state? When it goes to the request status, this is up to the supervisor to the supervisor can then change it from requested into either an open state or an assigned state or a rejected state. They decide then what happens to it. Some companies decide that they don't want the work request to go to the manager. They want it to go directly to the team instead. So what they'll do is they'll go, whenever a work order status comes in, I'm going to set it straight to open. So then it will appear in the technicians. You got to assign the technicians to the assets, but whenever a work order comes in for those assets, it's going to appear directly in their work order queue in the open status, which means any of those technicians can pull it from the queue. The last customization is the work requests here, and this is what our users see when our guest users see when they log a work request. They see here the full name, the phone number, the email, etc. So if I just turn off, and I also have asset down here, if I turn off some of these settings, so I'll say I don't want to show them the inputs, and also I don't care too much about the asset. And the asset, if you don't want to show that kind of keeps it secret. You might not want to trust your guest users to get it right. So you just let them put the name of the asset maybe in the description. So here I go to the work request. I don't have the guest requester user. Now the only problem with that is if there's an issue, you don't know who to contact because they haven't put that information in. But you see here the asset is also missing. So anybody who logs into the system can't see what assets you have. So it could be a leak in my office, and it's room 202. And they would then submit it. The priority I said is medium, not an immediate rush for it. Now, the only problem, of course, we don't know who that is, but at least it's been submitted to the queue. So, I mean, for guest requesters, ideally you probably should ask them for those contact information inputs, because it makes sense if this, something goes wrong, you know who to call. If they don't fill in the correct information, you know who to call, you know how to contact them. And also they get kept in the loop. When the work is done, they get that notification, so you don't have to chase them down and let them know the work is being completed. So just have a quick look at this slide here. So that's the work order settings. That's pretty much the settings, very simple to use settings. Let's have a quick look at task lists. So I pulled a task list into one of these, into the work order. The task list or task groups is here, and it is underneath the maintenance section. If I go to task groups, I have a few created already. So let's just have a look at the power conditioning quarterly checklist. And you'll see here the various different steps involved in this. It's visual inspections, etc. You can tie it directly to a scheduled maintenance. And this task list has been pulled into all these various different scheduled maintenances. The advantage is that if I make one change, so say the manufacturer of this power conditioner called up, or they sent out a field service advisory and they said, hey, you need to add this additional step in to make sure issue XYZ doesn't happen. You can then just add it at the bottom here, visually. Pedestal, probably spelled it wrong. Should take an hour to do. It could be a pass fail, so let's leave it as a text result. So when I add that to the task list, it's now going to update all those scheduled maintenances, and it's going to add that task list in. Also the category, so this is where our when I created it for that truck, that automatically got added to the system because it is it's added to the asset category. So let's have a look at the back to production checklist. So here we have a very simple one: wipe down the system, count the tools, reset all the interlocks. Let's see, just do a general safety inspection, the area, and we'll say that is a text result, pass fail. Maybe the final thing we want to do here is we want to do log the meter reading. So that could be hours, it could be kilometers, depending on what it is. So let's say this is kilometers. Let's say that's going to take whatever, half an hour to do that. I can also drag and drop here. So let's say the general safety inspection is the last thing we do. Let's see, move that up one. So log the meter reading is second last, general safety inspection. This is my back to production checklist. So what I'm going to do is, you see here, it's added to all those air conditioning systems. So let's just add it to the vehicles. So anytime a work order or a scheduled maintenance is created on these vehicles, this task list is going to automatically be added. So I'll go to click OK, and let's have a look and see that it works. So let's create a work order on the fly. Let's say it was called in, or it's something that we spotted. It's on the Lusk site. It's on our vehicle. It's going to be on one of our Dodge Rams. Let's have a look at Ram. We have two there. Let's just pick the first one. And there we can see all those tasks have been added automatically. Now what we have here is we actually have two task lists that have been added. Here's the first one that I just did now, but there is another task list there somewhere. Power down asset, record functional pass fail, power on the asset. So there's two task lists that are directly tied to this work order. I can also say I'm doing another work order in some other asset. Let's say it's on the facility itself. Let's say it's on the building. If I go to the building one and I click OK, there is no tasks here. No tasks are automatically populated, but I can add them to the system by clicking task group here, and I'll look for the back to production checklist. Now it is got kilometers in there, but I can actually populate the entire task directly into the work order. So when my technician goes to see that, he knows exactly what to do. So that's pretty much task groups. The final thing to look at is an additional kind of add-on feature. It's called multi-asset work orders. And if I open up one of my work orders here, you'll see that the one that I just created here, the asset import location, it is one asset. It is just the warehouse. if I go here to my Dodge Ram, I see here that I just have the one asset here as well. Let's see if I go to my assigned asset list. Yeah, looks like down my list I've got mostly single asset work orders. So let's create a multi-asset work order, okay? I'm going to go to my Lusk site. Again, this is something that is, let's create it on the Ford Focus. It is something that is an optional feature for your CMMS. I think it's from it's for the global and enterprise pricing packages. So I've created my work order now. It's on the Ford Focus, and it's actually automatically added all these tasks groups. Actually, you know what? That's probably a bad example. Let's pick a different. Let's create a different one on a different asset. We'll go to the asset list, and we'll go to the tool here, XX002 tool. Okay, looks like every single asset is getting this task list, but anyway, we go to labor tasks, and we've got those automatic tasks that have come in. So let's just say the task we got to check is inspect heating coil for cracking, and I'll assign that to the technicians group. There we go. It's going to take them an hour to do that, and I'm going to click save. Now let's just say I've got a number of identical assets to this. I can also fill in these other items here. Actually, it's an inspection. Let's see, inspection, its priority is medium. I want that done within about a week. So you give them to the 4th of April to do that. Now this is my XX002 30-inch tool, but I also have a list of a large quantity of those in the system. So let's just do my XXX001 tool. It's the same tool. I'm also going to copy the assets or copy the tasks from the first one. So I've added a second work asset here. So you'll see it's multi-asset here on the top. I do have those two assets here. I now have tasks for both assets. I can also filter here. By here, I can filter by asset and see which tasks are due for each asset. So the first one has those amount of tasks. XX2 is those tasks. And I can continue adding tasks as I need, or sorry, I can continue to add assets as I need. So let's just say the trolley jack, why not? It's just it's not identical asset, but let's just add that as well. And those tasks are now also added. I've copied them over from the first one. I see here I've got 21 tasks to do, and they're on various different assets, and I see my assets are here. Let me just open that out. I can see it's on my various different trolleys and my different power lifts, etc. Power lift, etc. This is ideal. Multi-asset work order is ideal for rounds. Say, for example, if you have fire extinguishers in your building, you have 30 fire extinguishers. So rather than doing 30 work orders or 30 scheduled maintenance, you just do one. You do one, create one scheduled maintenance. You add one asset. You add your tasks. Maybe it's inspect the fire extinguisher for damage, record the gas pressure, and then you copy in. You add other assets to the multi-asset work order. You can add your 30 assets one at a time. Your 30 fire extinguishers. And then as your guy walks around the building and signs off those, all those sign-offs go against those assets. They're all included in the one work order, but all those steps are signed off against the assets. So say, if there's ever an issue where something doesn't work, you can just check the asset record and you can see it's part of a multi-asset work order and no steps were signed off in order. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to just stop right there. That's work orders from pretty much start to finish. I'm going to open up the floor if anybody has any questions. There is a chat window there on the bottom of your GoToMeeting panel, control panel. So if you'd like to type in a question, I'm happy to answer them. Just while we are waiting for questions to come through, just one final thing actually to note here is the projects. Projects is considered a master work order. So if something is too big to do in one work order, you don't want a work order that's going to get out of control. You can actually create a project. And for example here, I've got one called annual overhaul. And then I can actually put in my work orders into the project. To do that, I just go into my work order. So let's say change the tires here on the Dodge Ram. I just add it to the annual overhaul project. Okay, it's at a different site, unfortunately. These are site specific as well. Let's see what I've got here. Tool storeroom. So because I've got multi-site switched on for this, it's not going to be available. Let's try a different one at random. Let's try the bulldozer, see if we can do that. Okay, there we go. We can add it to this one, annual overhaul. So now this step here, which is leak on the pneumatic hose, we're not going to do it now. We're not going to do the repair now. We're going to let it sit, and we're going to do it during the annual overhaul. And my list of work orders, here's the bulldozer. It's going to pile up. And whenever my bulldozer goes in then for its annual overhaul, all these work orders can get signed off. Okay, so still no questions coming through to the chat window. I either got everything completed and there's no questions, or everybody's too shy. I'm going to give it another minute. So if you have any questions, please feel free to log them in the chat window. How could tools be added to a work order? That's from Victor Amador. So I think, Victor, what you're saying is, let me just see here. You're saying you can log a work order against a tool. So if I go to my tool section here, I've got a DeWalt, let's say I've got a power drill. I can create a work order here for this particular tool. So if you need to create a work order on a tool, it's just like a piece of equipment. Maybe the tool needs to be repaired, you can do it there. If you're saying, how do I log a tool to a work order the way I did parts, as in I'm going to do a list the tools needed when completing a work order. So the schedule maintenance, I suppose, and work order is pretty much the same thing. The only way you can do that is to log it in a area within your work order. There is no tools section, tools needed. It only gives you parts needed, a list of parts needed, and the steps that need to be done. So tools would have to be added manually in the completion notes. That's kind of probably the best place to put them. Or you can create a task with the tools needed. So if somebody is creating a work order, so this would be the first step. Okay, and I assign that to the technicians group, and that could be the first step on the work order. So the tools needed. So when the guy is assigned the work order, he can then look at his tools and sign them off, get them ready for the work order. Click save. There is no exact way of adding tools to the work order. We don't have a tab. It is a manual process. Let me just refresh the screen there. Yep, unfortunately, it is a manual process. There is no way to reserve tools. It is something that's on our radar, Victor. It is something we have in our pipeline. I believe it's on our dev roadmap. I'm not too sure. I think it's more medium to long term. It's not something that's in the immediate future. There's just not enough people requesting it, but it's definitely something that we have on our dev radar. So for now, the only way to do it is just to log it manually, either in the completion notes or in the task section. The first task will be to gather those tools needed for the work order. Okay, so from a question here from Purby, Berlinda. When I log on, I do not see settings. How is that possible? Well, it's very possible. It's all to do with your credentials or your permissions. So I'm logged in here as a supervisor. And if I go here to my Tommy the technician, and if I go to the user groups, you'll see Tommy's here in the managers group, okay? If I go to the user groups and I open up the manager's permissions, if I go to the menu permissions, you'll see here that the the managers have access to the settings top menu, but they do not have access to anything in the settings menu. So they don't have access to any of these settings here, okay? So when I log off and I log in as Tommy, and I log into the system, when I go to the settings tab here, there's nothing there. And again, this is because Tommy is his user group that he's in is the managers group, and the managers do not have access to the settings section. Now, the permissions are controlled by your administrator, your system administrator, so they need to add you to either a user group with more permissions in the app, or they need to adjust the manager's settings to give you those more permissions in the CMMS. Okay. Question here from Greg Lloyd. Can you talk about raising work orders from events? Okay. That's quite an advanced topic here. So there is, I'll just log back in as the managers. So if you go to your schedule maintenance section, this will be actually covered on Thursday, but I can have a quick, give you a quick idea of how it works. So in the trigger section here of a schedule maintenance, we have the option of setting a work order to trigger by time. So this is like every week or every month, something like that. By meter reading, like on your car, every 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 kilometers or miles. And we also have the event trigger as well. So here I've got an event. So let's say I want to create a new event. The event name is temperature spike. And I'll just add that there as an event for this particular system. It means I can then select it from the list. So whenever this system experiences a temperature spike, that this schedule maintenance is going to create a work order. So when it's based on time, it's like when the first of the month is happens, then it's going to create a work order. In this case, it's whenever this event happens. This can be whatever type of event you have. It could be an earthquake, a volcano, something like that. It could be vibrations. It could be whatever that needs to be. You can set it here in the system in the schedule maintenance, and whenever that is triggered, so whenever I have to activate this schedule maintenance, but every time this is triggered, every time the temperature spike happens, it's going to create a work order. If I go into my assets, and the way to do that, if I go into my asset tree, if I go to my Dodge Ram, for example, if I go to metering and events, I see here at the bottom, this is where I log an event. So I go temperature spike, and it's logged against this. Additional info, I can put in more info there if I want. Now this event has been logged against this system, and when it does, it's going to create that schedule maintenance. Now this is the manual way to do it, and I mean, it's hard to know which systems are, which events need to be added to the system. It's a difficult thing to do. But we do have a MA monitoring. So if I just go to our website, maintenanceassistant.com, if you go up here to have a look at control monitoring, what you can do is you can actually tie your system directly into your CMMS. So the equipment can actually, report those spikes itself, high, low spikes, whatever they may be, directly into the CMMS, and then it raises those alarms or work orders for technicians. So this is on our website. It's called MA Monitoring. It is, it's considered a complex or add-on feature to the CMMS. If you want to know more information, the best person is Don, and he's at sales@maintenanceassistant.com. I think we've also a blog here with a pretty good, let me see if I can find that. There's a good image in this thing here. Let's see if I can find it. Maintenance Assistant unveils MA monitoring. Here it is here, a good diagram to show you how it works. So the system is operating normally within particular limits, and once it exceeds those limits, it then triggers that work order in the system, and then your technicians get notified if they can go attend the issue before it turns into something more complex. So that's how events work. In the system right now, as it comes out the box, it is a manual process, and not many people use it, but it is possible to tie it in directly to your systems with MA monitoring. Okay, next question. Hopefully that answers your question, Greg. Next question's from Norm. Can we download photos of assets into the system so it appears on the work order? into the system so it appears on the work order? Yes, you can. In the work order, you've got the tab section here, or the file section. So you can add as many photos as you like here into the work order. So whenever the repair happens, I just dragged this one in earlier. So let's drag it in. I can just drag it into this. I can add as many images as I like here. Right now, this is a manual process. I suppose you need to connect up your camera to the computer and get those photos into the system. We are working on MA Mobile version 2, and it's going to be native to your mobile phone like iPhone and Android. And what you'll be able to do is, as you're doing the work with your handheld, be that your iPhone or your tablet or something like that, your Galaxy tablet, whatever that is, and as you're doing the work order, you can just literally pick it up, take a photo, and it just logs directly. It's logged directly on this work order. You don't need to connect up any wires, etc. So that's coming with Mobile 2. But for now, until Mobile 2 is available, it's available. It's due to be available at the end of April. Until then, it is a manual process, but you can add those images in the file section of the work order. So hopefully that answers your question, Norm. Is there any questions coming from anybody else? Okay, just before we finish up, just to remind everybody that in the help section of your CMMS, you do have these training webinars. They're happening all this week, and there's more coming up in April. You can also get access to our FAQ section. You can submit a ticket. We also have all our videos there, and whenever we release new features, we always create a video, and it is available on our video support page. You also have our phone support here. If you have any ideas you think that we should add to the CMMS, you can go to the feature request form. And this is where, oops, this doesn't have an email in this thing, but this is where you can log your ideas, and they'll be submitted for review by other maintenance assistant users, and also then it's monitored by the product manager each week. So I see another question there has come in from Christopher. Can you add pictures of the assets? Yes, you can. If you go to the assets section here, if I go to my Dodge Ram, hopefully I have one, not this one, maybe the other one. This one. Okay, let's just see Ford Focus maybe. Okay, so to add an image, let me just get one from the internet. Why not get a Dodge Ram? Get the images. There's a monster. Let's see, save image as Dodge on my desktop. So if I go back into my Dodge Ram, all I need to do is to drag it directly into the file section of the, let's see, I'll go to the other one. Into the file section of the asset record. Here I don't have any images in here, any files of any type. So if I just go back in to get my Dodge, spelled incorrectly, but anyway, hopefully this works. Now this has been downloaded as a document, so that's not a good sign. Let's have a look at it. Okay, it didn't work as a photo. Save images. Okay, I'll just delete that. That was just an error there. The computer didn't save it as an image. So here we go. We can see now I have my Dodge. I'm just going to drag that directly into the system. And there you can see that that has been that shows up now above in the asset record. So when I go into my asset record, I see here the Dodge. I can also click on that file to preview the asset. So if the technician in the field is not sure what he is looking at, he can also enlarge it there. But yes, you just simply drag it into the section here, and you notice the file type is image. You want to make sure that if you add the file, there's various different types. I can just add here. You'll see there's documents. There's I just click on it actually. You can see here there's maps, diagrams, documents, links, etc. But as long as you have it set to image, it'll show up there, and you can add as many files as you like to your asset records. It can be, instruction manuals, parts list, etc. Anything you want. Okay, how do we access old training session videos? Okay, so the training videos are in a number of places. One, you can go to our support videos page. We have a full list here of videos. We have our introduction videos there. We also have our webinars. These are recorded webinars that we've done over the last few months. And then we have our setup of our system. So if you're new to the system, you can start here by looking at the basic setup videos. That's basic workflow, how the system how the system functions. If you put your assets in and you have your assets in the CMMS, you can start creating work orders straight away and start using the system. Then we have intermediate setup where you've got your schedule maintenance, etc. And it goes all the way down right to the bottom to our customizations. Bit more complex kind of subjects. We have our multi-site training, we have our QR codes, etc. If you are coming from a different system, the import videos are also available there as well. The second place you can find it is on YouTube, macmms.com, and we have our YouTube channel and all the videos are logged there. And I'm going to add this video to the recorded webinar section of this page. Okay. So one final last call for any questions. If anybody's questions, last chance to submit them there through the chat in the chat window, your control panel. Okay, sorry about that. So fast. How do you access so it's YouTube, youtube.com/MACMMS. And this video is on autoplay here, so I just kind of played in my ear. So sorry about that. So this is our YouTube channel here, maintenanceassistant.com YouTube channel. You've got our basic workflow here, intermediate workflow. These are the same videos that are available on our website. It's just on YouTube. If you have any problems accessing them on our website, you can go to YouTube. I know some companies block out YouTube, but the recorded webinars are going to be here, and this section is going to grow over time as we keep adding these recorded webinars. I'm going to put that link into the chat window so you can take note of it there, Norm. Sorry about that, the speed. Okay, so last call for any final questions. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it at that. Just to let you know that there are more recorded, or there's more sessions this week. Go into your CMMS and go to the help section, online training webinars. Hopefully this opens up. You've got, so we did basic work orders today. We have MA Source, which is tomorrow. We have basic schedule maintenance on Thursday, and we have the purchase order module on Friday. So if you think that coming to these sessions will help you get the CMMS up and running, I definitely recommend them. MA Source is the MA Source feature, which is in the top right-hand corner of the application. And then the purchase order module, this is available for the global and enterprise customers. Here it is here on the left. This is a bit barren, this one, but the sessions will explain how to use all that functionality. So that's available through the help section in your CMMS. Okay, folks, there's no more questions coming through, so I'm going to leave it for today. As I say, you have all the resources there in the help section of the app. If you have any questions, you probably find them in the FAQ section. If not, you can log a help desk ticket and we'll hopefully have an answer for you quickly. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.